Hey guys, welcome back to Come Style Reviews. We have a really anticipated one here. This is Perfect Effect, their DX-05 Leonidas. This is the next in the series, I believe, from Warden, which was a hot toy of last year. Yeah, it was last year. It wasn't 2013. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, or I'm sure I'll Google it and see right after this. But, you know, I really like this one. It's a culmination of a lot of things that they've been doing, you know, starting with Perfect Effect RC even. So this is awesome. Even without this review, go ahead and get it if you're thinking about it. It's incredible. You can get it from tfsource.com, links in the description. But anyway, quick overview here. Of course, it comes with a box. Really well done box. I wish it did have the, you know, magnetic opening thing, but the grunge art's really cool. Overview of the toy. I don't know if this is CGI or the actual toy itself. Yeah, that's definitely CGI. You can see better from the side. There's that. Of course, it comes with Leonidas. Now, a variety of weapons, which we'll go over in the accessory portion of this review. But just knocking out the size, because people were like, it's masterpiece, it's classics, blah, blah, blah. Let's take a look. And I'm actually going to look through the LCD this time. Of course, it's too far away for me to see, but looks like it's about 8¼ inches tall. So not quite that, like 10-inch or so in B10 height. We will actually get the original Beast Wars 2 Leo Convoy, figured by Takara in here. So that, and I don't know what it is about Classics Optimus Prime, but I've got Classics Optimus Primes for days. Now, he was very big in the cartoon, so he can fit into a Classics collection pretty easy if you collect like the Beast Wars 2 stuff and things like that. He's not too crazy much bigger than the original Leo Convoy, which is... Leo Convoy is right, but Big Convoy is where it kind of gets messed up, because Big Convoy is supposed to be huge, but I believe Leo Convoy, the toy, actually turned out taller. That's a whole nother whatever for stuff that I don't really collect like that. Alright, again, here he is. That's what's in the box. Alright, and before we get into the posability, we'll talk about what's die cast. His swords are die cast, those are accessories, but on him, this piece of the mane here, die cast, these forearm outer pieces, the white, die cast, as well as die casts in the bottom calves here. So those are the die cast portions of Leonidas himself. Zooming out a little bit more, looking at his posability, he has two joints on the neck. So where the neck meets the chest, where the head meets the neck. So he's got 2 points of articulation. He's kind of got this collar going on there. So that prohibits it a little bit. Like, he can still turn his head from side to side, but he can't look down while doing it, which is unfortunate because he's got that really cool ab crunch, which we'll go over in a second. And, you know, sometimes you just want him to look down at an angle, and, you know, it's what it is. It comes with the territory. But his waist swivel at the bottom, really tight there. Now, this actually extends, and there's another point of articulation, and it ratchets. I wish that the ratchets were a bit tighter, but they hold for what they're worth. It's when he starts to hold weapons and stuff like that, that's when it gets kind of hairy. But you could always push that back down in if you're not using it. That's pretty cool. Alright, shoulders, ball joints, and there's an additional ball joint. I have to go over here on the inside. So it's double ball jointed shoulders. So lots of range with the shoulders. And you can see how tight this is too. And it is very tight, not over tight to where you feel like you're going to break it. Very tight. Bicep swivel. Single jointed elbows, but past 90 degrees. Alright. Wrist swivel. And one thing that's really cool, he has wrist sway, if you want to call it that. It has back and forth swing to it too, so there's additional posability in the wrist there. The thighs, no ratchets, so awesome. Was really excited when I saw that. So, tight ball joints, I've gotten people who complain about loose ones. Now, the problem, they're pretty far in that ball joint. So if I had to fix it, man, I'm kind of glad that these are decent, because I don't know what I'd do if not. I'm afraid to pull that out. That's how deep it is. And I don't know if you want to call it like stick or peg, but whatever, that long piece in between the ball joint and his crotch, that's just, it's thin. I don't know. I'd be afraid to break it. So it's not something I personally want to really deal with. But you can see under there, it would be something to get to. Right there. Right. He does have limited thigh swivel, double jointed knees. And I really like the detail in there, the gear and stuff like that. None of that Play Arts Guide bullshit to where you've just got big open plastic. Really good ankle tilt. Rocks back and forth. Individual articulated paws on his feet. And I like that these pieces, guard pieces for the feet there, those are movable too. So no matter where you've got the feet positioned, you could have it covered. They do a really good job of making sure that you just don't have gaps with this figure, which is great. Now, getting them into a cool pose. See how effortless that is? It's crazy. Maybe should have done the other arm since he's got the big lion mane there, but whatever. That's the cool side. There you go, that's standard Iron Man pose. Accessories. Alright, we'll go by these one by one and just put it together as we go. So, 2 daggers, of course, and these they revolve around 5mm pegs, in case you were wondering. Right. So you can put them in his hands like so. One thing I forgot, in the articulation, he does have fingers that go in and out. The weapons still just clip or slide into the pegs, so I don't really see the purpose besides, just different poses and stuff like that, but yeah. Okay. And the reason I've got them all laid out like that is because we're going to store them as we go. Now for these, they clip together and they slide right in there. Right? And you've got this big long piece here. Now this acts as his tail. One thing I did, because there were so many complaints about people breaking the tail and this and that, I went through each joint, rotated it a little bit, moved them back and forth, just played with it a bit, joint by joint, just to make sure things were loosened up, so that when it came time to store and this and that, I didn't have any problems. And so far, so good. Knock on wood. This table's actually made out of wood, so I can do that. Alright, so I don't know what this is supposed to be. I don't know if it's a whip or what, but the sections are 5mm. So if you want to have him, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know what you're supposed to do with this. Yeah, I don't know. I truly don't know. I know it acts as a tail in his alt mode, but weapon-wise, it doesn't really seem like the best option there. Alright. And we will move on to storing this guy as well. So, I'm going to raise the camera here. Sure, it's raised. I'm going to point it down. And this back skirt here, because this is where a lot of people had problems, so we'll knock this out too. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and store the tail inside of this back plate here. That's where a lot of the problems have come from. What I do in advance, just make sure that all of these are facing the right way. They rotate, so you want them all facing sideways. You don't want any of the bends coming up towards you or away from you or anything like that. I think that's where a lot of problems come from when it comes to storing this. If you do that in advance, and of course wiggle them and play with them and stuff like that, just know the posability. So, yeah. Alright. Starting here, just clip this first part in, and it guides you around. That's the nice part about it. And if you want even more help, actually remove the tail piece at the end. So we're taking it around. Alright, see how we've got that around there. Now, well, I guess I don't. I was going to rotate it around, but I guess I can rotate it through as well. But boom. So easy. Okay. So, we're in the clear. I will probably never remove this again, just because of how many horror stories I've heard and this and that, and how careful you have to be. And notice I removed the swords just to give myself some more room, but yeah. That's that part. Next up, the crossbow. So, just another 5mm peg. Get that guy into his hand. And it's a blaster. For storage, flip that up. These two side pieces here. You flip them, rotate it upwards. Alright. On his back, there's a hole right there that it just pegs into. Boom. There we go. And we're winding down. The swords, connect the sheaths on these two pieces to the side. I actually had them connected at first, but it's easier to connect the tail when they're not on there. Just gives you more room to work. Alright. These are pretty big swords. They're die cast. Check out kumastyle.com for some cool sword pictures. And I don't know if it's because it's painted die cast and a little bit thicker, but these, out of all of the weapons, grip into his hands the best. You can see general length of the sword. Put his head up a little bit there. Alright. Oh, and one thing that is cool, if you guys remember how a Warbot Defender kind of started something with these third-party figures to where they could reach in the holsters and grab stuff and this and that, this guy can actually so tight, but again, not scary tight. It's cool. Reach in and pull the sword out. That's awesome. May not be important to some, but it makes for a cool picture if you like that stuff. I obviously do. Taking the pictures, this and that. Alright. And I don't know if you noticed, the visor just popped off. It is removable from the face, so just leave it off for right now. Now the guns, they look familiar. They're made to look like his G1 blasters. Cool nod. They have two gun modes in the instructions. You see how that was flipping down? You can take this, flip it up, rotate that, put that down. Makes for a sight. Oops. I took it out too far, but about right there. I don't really know what it's supposed to be, but I actually prefer kind of a middleman between the two because I like that G1 gun look. I just like them extended, like the G1 look, but with the blaster extended out. Okay, so there's that. Oop. There we go. Just have to have his heels touch the ground. His heels are huge. I love it. Extend this a bit. Should close those hands on it. There we go. There's that. Dual wielding. And to store, I'm only going to store one for the time being. I'll show you why in a second. It just pegs on to this back skirt here. Alright. Now, taking a look at the stand, the base is actually the one that came with Warden, but it comes with a stand piece built for him, Leonidas. Alright, so it comes in 3 pieces. It comes with this base piece to kind of lengthen it out. This part here is the same as Warden's, and by base piece I mean this right here. That's not, this all isn't one. And then this part that clips on. Alright, so for me it's easiest to take this part that clips on. It has 2 tabs. It's hard to show you guys how it works, but I'll try. There are 2 holes right there, and from there you can just peg it in. You peg that in and attach it to the stand, and boom, he's floating. One guy, he told me, he was like, have fun distributing the weight while he's on the stand. I don't remember who. It's not like a call out thing, but so far so good. I haven't had any problems with that. I don't know. He holds in place just fine. It tabs in really well to his rear, and yeah, no complaints. And I love that the head works on a pivot, so does this other shoulder, to make room for whatever you want to do. But yeah, he's completely floating. No foot touching. Back foot not touching. And there you go. Those are all of his accessories. We'll actually get that visor back in. Just pegs in. Those are his accessories. I mean, they're all cool. They are really reminiscent of the PE DX-05. Not necessarily in the weapons itself, but just that he comes so freaking loaded with weapons. And they all store too, which is really, really cool. And there you go. Let's go ahead and get this guy transformed and take a look at the elbow. In this transform, the first step is going to be taking this part here. Both of these work on hinges. Alright, they're just separate parts of the main. Taking that around back. Flipping that around like so. From there, the other hinge, just take that. You want to rotate the head. Get the visor off there. Like so. And then just get it positioned forward. Okay, from a back view, you're going to zoom in. This piece here, instead of flat, you want it straight up and down like so. Alright, now this back main piece, bring that up. You gotta kind of work everything and fit everything together. But get it positioned like so. Okay? You can see the main start to be formed. Alright, and this is probably the hardest part of the whole transformation to describe because it gets so dark under there. Alright, on these two hinges here, there's one on this side, one on this side. You're going to see a peg right there and a hole. You have to line it up, and it's hard for me to do on camera, but tab it in. And once you got everything pegged in, it should look pretty straightforward. I'll tell you this though, the pegs on mine were originally too big for the holes in the side of that main piece, so they actually stretched the hole. And you could tell while you were pegging them in and stuff like that, they'd start to get warped a bit. So if yours are too big, it seems like the plastic is soft enough on the holes themselves to form. So don't be too worried. Just work with it. Be careful. You know, this, that, and the other. But that's how it looks when everything's pegged in and ready to go. Next piece of the equation is the arms. What you do, take this, turn it in this way, I believe. And from there, let's see if I remember the trick or the ticket here. There we go. This whole middle forearm piece, it's color coded, so the red is what rotates around. There, boom. Okay. And do that on each side. Alright. So these two chest hinges here, I'm going to use those again. Going to swing them forward and rotate the chest pieces themselves down. Why we're doing that? So that we can, hopefully without popping them off, but the ball joints here, you want to rotate these up and forward. Alright. We're going to do that on both sides. Alright, so this is where we're at right now. With the legs, what you do, it's a double hinge. So I believe, yes, you just use the double hinge like so. And do the other side as well, since we needed to put them back down. Oops. Got it all the way off camera. Yeah, of course get them straightened out and all that good stuff. But there he goes. You have a transformed Leonidas. Taking a look at the alt mode here. For Cybertronian Leo Convoy, I think it gets the job done. You still got that posable tail and whatnot. Again, be careful with the joints in it. And I like that they hold the weight of that pretty good too. It doesn't look like they should, but they do. You got the removable visor. I actually like the way he looks better without the visor. I think the eyes are really done pretty cool here. Now in terms of posability, you've got the ball joint here, the ball joint here, so it's just full of possibility in terms of articulation. You've even got tilt there, individual, moving paws and claws. They just move up and down, so it's not like they move side to side or anything like that. It's still pretty cool. The back legs still have all the articulation that he did in robot mode. Exact same legs. And also the individual articulated paws as well. So overall, pretty cool stuff. And you've got the ab crunch there too, so if you want to get them into more of a pounce-like pose, you can do that. Now the head does have rotation there. I don't know exactly how it works because it's got those two pistons that we went over during the transformation and whatnot. The mouth, you can open and close it. So overall, this is an awesome piece. Alright, taking a look at the battle mode here. We're actually going to raise the camera up. Rotate that back down. Reason being because we have to remove these two swords here. Again, use kid gloves. Those are pretty thin. Alright, so rotate these two pieces of the crossbow out and down. Nothing crazy. And all we're doing is putting the swords back. I'm taking a look real quick to make sure I'm putting them back on the right direction. Red parts face down. While I knock everything down here. But slides right on. Slides right on. Again, kid gloves. I'm okay with knocking the guns off as long as I've got those small pieces secure. So, there we go. You can rotate them how you want. Oops. Make sure it's balanced. And these back guns, we'll just take the whole thing apart there. But all of that rotates up. I feel like I'm pushing the camera. It's a lot going on, jeez. Let's see if I can't peg that back down. There we go. There's one. Get my hand out of the way. There's the other. Alright. And now he has a battle mode. Final thoughts on this guy, man. It's incredible. They really knocked it out of the park. I feel like this is a culmination of everything that Perfect Effect's been doing. It's got the weapons and storage like their Perfect Effect RC. It's got the contained transformation like pretty much all of the toys I've had so far. You know, outside of the battle mode, there's no parts forming of this thing. It's got the die-cast of Warden. Man, they just knocked it out of the park. Besides pieces that you just have to use kids gloves with, you know, like the tail and whatnot. It's incredible. This is a really good and well done piece, you know. Is it a must-have? If you like Leo Convoy, of course. If you like Optimus Prime, yeah, most definitely. I think it's one of the better Optimus Primes made, you know, Ultimate Optimus Prime by far. Just takes it from me. I don't know if I'd necessarily put this with MP10, but it's damn good. It's right in the same league as stuff like that. And by far, for me, it's the best classics style Optimus Prime ever made. For sure. For sure. In terms of where it stacks up to third-party releases. I mean, we just had Warbotron release this year, but I think for a singular bot, so far this one takes it. You know, it's really set a standard in terms of what other companies are going to be doing. Especially with them moving towards masterpieces and stuff like that, you know. The quality on this guy not even being a masterpiece it's insane. So, if you're thinking about it, buy it. By all means, if you don't like it, by chance you'll be able to sell it quick and for more than you bought it for once this thing sells out. So anyway, this has been another Kuma Style review. This one's actually been a treat to review and kind of cool to have another Transformer. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Check out the Pictorial on kumastyle.com. Buy yours at tfsource.com. And that's about all the shilling I can do. You guys have a great one, and see you next time.